Hi, I'm Urvashi. My blog is TwoSleevers.com. And I had previously done a review of the Instant Pot Ace blender. This is a heated blender that, in addition to making your usual shakes and whatever, will also make soup, but it does it very differently from some of the other blenders out there. So I have a Vitamix. Many people pronounce it Vitamix. I don't care, whichever. You feel free to pronounce it however you want. I'm going to call it a Vitamix. Anyway, so the Vitamix does make soup, but the way the current machines work is that it creates heat via friction. So the soups will get to about 180, 185 Fahrenheit. This one, however, has a heated element in the bottom of it. I've alluded before to how heavy it is, but again, I have rheumatoid arthritis, so what's heavy for me may or may not be heavy for you. This top is made out of glass and it weighs 6 pounds. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to show you how easy it is to make soups in here. Now, I will tell you something. When I first got this, I got it because I'm a gadget geek and I was like, I'm never going to use this thing. I have to tell you, we use it a lot. In the winter especially, it's been really, really good to be able to make soups. And since I bought this, we have not thrown away very many vegetables that are just sitting around. And one of the really nice things about this is I feel like I can throw in just about anything and it turns out to be really, really good smooth soup. People have asked me, could you do the same thing with an Instant Pot pressure cooker and a hand blender? And my answer is yes, but yes-ish. So you can, but I will say that the soups in this for me are a lot smoother and it's a lot easier in some ways to clean. So I've been doing that. Okay, so some of you have seen the video, so I apologize if this is repetition, but if you watch hopefully the overhead video right now, I'm going to show you how to open it. It is very, very secure in the way that it attaches, and what you do is you turn this and lift it. This has notches, this has notches, and the notches kind of fit together. So what we're going to do is we're going to make the cream of mushroom soup from scratch. And you'll see how easy it is. Now, I have not made this soup before, but I'm very sure about what it's going to taste like because I have a pressure cooker recipe for it. What I'm not exactly sure about is the proportions. And so I'm going to throw it in here and you and I together will figure out how do you know if it's enough, how do you know if it's not enough. It has a max line to about 750, which is about 46 ounces, 48 ounces, 46 ounces is the max you want to put in. So, you're not going to be making 12 cups of soup in here, okay? Depending on the size of your cup, you could get about 3.5 12-ounce cups in that range, okay? My math is on the fly here. Okay, so here's how I like to do it. I'm going to start with 2 cups of water, and I like to put the liquid ingredients in the bottom. So there are days when I don't have time to chop. And in those instances, I can just buy these pre-chopped portobello mushrooms. Now you can use white ones, you can use cremini, you can use whatever you want. And for those of you who are going to chop your own mushrooms, this is about, I would say, a couple of cups of mushrooms, okay? And I'm going to put in a cup of onions, chopped onions. And really, if you're not having a good day, you can have those purchased pre-chopped. A lady stopped me in the grocery store once and she was like, why don't you just chop your own onions? And I'm like, look, I have great knife skills. I also have a degenerative joint disease. And some days I just can't. So next time, before you say something to some lady in the grocery store or some guy, just think about the fact that you might not know what they're dealing with today. That's my public service announcement. Anyway, we're going to put in some cloves of garlic. And here's a nice thing. I don't have to chop anything because guess what? The blender is going to chop it for us. Now, here's my secret ingredient that I just love. It's a little bit of jalapeno, and I know you're sitting there going, who puts jalapeno in cream of mushroom soup? I do. I'm Urvashi and I put jalapeno in just about everything. And it actually tastes really good. So it doesn't taste spicy. For those of you who are asking, unless you get like one of those crazy jalapenos, it's not going to be crazy spicy, but it just lends a little bit of flavor. So you do that. We're going to put in salt and pepper. And then, so I put in about half to 3/4 teaspoon of salt and about half a teaspoon of pepper. And then I have about a half a teaspoon of dried thyme. Now you can put whatever you want. I have another ingredient, but I'm not putting it in now. This is half and half, and it's going to make it really, really creamy afterwards. But I'm not putting it right now because milk does not do well in this. When milk gets heated, it either burns or it bubbles over. So we're going to add the milk. The dairy products are going to need to be added later. Okay, I look at this and I see the water coming into about this level, and I see this sticking on top. And I look at that and I go, that's not going to be quite enough water. So where I had 2 cups, I'm just gonna take another cup and add it in there. And some of this is guesswork, but I'll write you a proper recipe. Now, watch how I secure this on top. You drop it in straight. This took me a little while. I'm very spatially challenged. So don't try to be clever, just drop it in straight and then turn it to where these things are lined up and the lip on top is holding on tight. That's it. Now, there are multiple settings on this. The soup one is a heated setting. There are 2 buttons here. You see button 1, button 2. If I press button 1, actually mine was set. So if I press button 1, you'll see 20 minutes flashing. If I press soup again, it goes to button 2 and you see 22 minutes flashing. 22 is your clue that this is gonna make a smooth soup. It beeps and it starts. Now see, initially it's just gonna go through and now we're gonna have to wait until the temperature comes up. One of the really frustrating things for a lot of people is the fact that this starts out in centigrade and stays in centigrade. I can turn it into Fahrenheit, but the next time I start it up, it goes back into centigrade, and I have not found anything in the manual, but there is a way to do it. So let me cancel this and I'll show you how you do it. You cancel it, you press the pause button, and you wait. And it beeped. Now, when I turn on soup 2, you'll see it's gonna come on as Fahrenheit. So just toggle between centigrade and Fahrenheit, press the pause button, hold it down for a bit. Next time you start the soup, you're gonna have to start over. So see, now it says 81F. Okay, now go away. Go away for 20 minutes, 22 minutes. What's gonna happen is occasionally it's gonna stir, and when it stirs, it's gonna chop a little bit. One of the things that I have not been thrilled about, I will say, is that even on soup 1 setting, where I want the soup to be chunky, it still chops the ingredients. So I have not been able to find a way to get totally chunky soup. So like I can't yet put in pasta. Maybe I'm missing a trick. If I am, somebody write in and let me know how you're doing it, but I can't. I can't get it to just keep the ingredients whole. What has been working for me is to put the ingredients really, really large, and then when it chops it, it still leaves it a little bit chunky. Okay, so every once in a while, it's gonna rotate. Now keep in mind, our 22 minutes does not start counting down yet. It's gonna start counting down once the water gets to 212 degrees. Typically, for a jar this full, it's gonna take about 10 minutes. So add that to your time. And then what you'll find is you'll know the soup is near completion because for the last 2 minutes, it's gonna start really, really churning quite intermittently. And that is the time when we're gonna add our half and half. Okay, so we're back. You saw what it did. It cooked it for about 20 minutes and then it whirled it. Now, you pour in your half and half and then put the lid back very carefully. It's hot. Remember that. We don't think of our blenders as being hot, but this is hot. And now I'm gonna go in here and I'm gonna hit the blender low speed. The way that I've been serving these soups is more like smoothie consistency, if you will. So these are not, I don't make them very thick. Now, of course you could, there's nothing preventing you from doing that. But with the proportions that I gave you, that's typically how it's gonna work. And then you see, this is how I've been making them, is really pouring, sipping type of soups. You can make them thicker and put them in a bowl. So you could put a little of the solids, you know, like the microwaved mushrooms and onions, etc. on top of it. You could put some parsley on top. Now I want you to look at this container. So the smart thing to do at this point is to go ahead and pour out all the soup, because you see all of this stuff that is on here. Your best bet is to clean this blender as fast as you can. And in order to clean it with the least effort, you put water, you put a couple of pumps of soap in it, you close it, and you hit the clean cycle, and it'll go through and clean it on its own. So if you're going to leave the soup in here, these things are going to be a little bit harder to clean. But really, that was it. You basically have one blender container to clean. You've got hot soup, and I have put everything. I put onions and carrots. Then I put spinach and onions and garlic. Like, you can put whatever you want in here and make really, really good soup. This is an amazing cream of mushroom type soup that actually has cream in it, no flour. It's very, very keto friendly, really, and I hope that was helpful for you. I'm Urvashi Pitre. My blog is TwoSleevers.com, and thank you for watching.